Thank you for that. Looks like we're on the way. And everybody, no surprise, goes concrete. Thank you for the great explanation.
Nope, no problem.
Alright, so the start of the stage, also a big shoutouts to the Woodman Easter egg here, the start of the song, and the concrete poured over the wood theme, I don't know. These birds at the start of the stage are pretty notorious to kill you early on, so you'll see players probably take this carefully. That's perfectly fine. I've died in those holes more than I can care about. And
Yeah.
what are we doing here? The elephants.
Well, so the elephants, they're the first mini boss of the game, or mini bosses rather. They each take 15 shots to kill, so you're looking at 45 shots needing to be bashed into these guys in total, which is kind of brutal on the hands, especially if you're resetting early in the game. But hey, we don't have to worry about resets here. This is a race.
You know what's more impressive? They do it all in about 13 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. All these guys are mashing really well. Polytopes, it looks like, has a bit of a lead. Khanster is just getting to the elephants, taking a little bit of a safety, holding onto the ladder. For the rest of the stage here, Polytopes is about to get onto this last screen here before the boss. What's neat about this is that you could just walk straight, and as long as you walk straight, you don't get hit by any of those pellets that those little plant man-like trees shoot. So
also, one thing I really like is how Mega Man teaches you how to play the game. Like, they give you the inoffensive platform first before the pit.
Yeah, they show you, hey, this thing's gonna move up, and it warns you before they put you into the bottomless pit. So it actually does look like CrebleStar has a bit of a lead here in the race against Khanster. Yeah, he's been doing really well. He's one of the runners who has learned the game super fast. He's only been playing for, I don't know, like a month, if that.
An unfortunate death here, but fortunately he has a sizable lead, so he can take that for now, but you want to take too many of those. Meanwhile, Volwrath are just about a teleportation behind Polytopes.
And as a reminder, the races are vertical. You have Volwrath against Polytopes, and you have CrebleStar against Khanster. So Kreble is still ahead in his race, and you have Polytopes ahead in that race.
So while we're finishing up the last boss here with Khanster, I do want to point out that the iframes of bosses in this game are much faster than traditional Mega Man games, so it makes up for like a little bit more of a drawn-out fight because Buster Shot only does 1 damage, but I find it gives a nice versatility to the fight. You can see a lot more concrete instead of just going a little more at a time.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. It adds a lot of movement and strategy to the fight, even casually. It makes it more interesting, in my opinion.
One of the primary reasons why we go concrete first is probably one of the most useful weapons in the game, if not the most useful, especially for utility, and you see that a lot in Magma, so they're going to use it to freeze beams, kill the dragon really quickly, which you'll see on the screen right now.
You see the 2-jump Magma kill, that was awesome. And shoutouts to Khanster for beating Concrete Man there. He had 2 health entering into that fight, and he did not take damage the entire fight. I was pretty worried there, so that was awesome.
Making his own
clutched it out. Ooh, CrebleStar with a death. Magma Man stage, again, the concrete shot is extremely useful for navigating. As you see Polytopes here skipping these beams, he chooses to play it safe, completely understandable there, missing that one. But it is one of the most dangerous stages of the game. By far the most dangerous Robot Master stage, in my opinion.
And one thing to point out is this is the first race of all 4 players, so they're probably either still feeling the race jitters, or they might not have developed their own strats that they want to use in a tournament setting, so they're feeling this for real right now.
True. Volwrath taking a death, Kreble taking another death, Magma Man just showing how much of a brutal stage this is. It's Khanster is now in the lead on the race on the right. Polytopes, meanwhile, not having an issue at all with the game. He is moving through. He has a, what is this, 448 teleport, it looks like? Yeah, unbelievable. He's a elite runner. He has a
43.
32 no, he PB'd today.
Oh, did he?
It's
Well,
a 3x.
fool me once.
42:37 is the new PB. So he's just breezing through this game. Shoutouts to Hornet Man third. I do appreciate that, Scott. He's the only other runner that I've seen do this route. The reason for that is that a lot of runners do Galaxy third. The reason you would do Galaxy third is because there's a lot of RNG in Galaxy. Between his best and worst pattern, you can lose about 7 seconds or so. So, you know, it's better to reset earlier on, naturally. However, in a race or a marathon, you're not going to reset. And Hornet Man adds a little bit of speed. So the Hornet Chaser weapon can actually defeat the copter enemies that you'll see in Galaxy Man in a bit. So if you get caught up or trip up and you're about to go face first with the spikes, it can kind of bail you out. Polytopes there, reaching the flower, which is another element of RNG, and got the best possible. So, you know, the rich get richer, I suppose.
For sure. And as we see our players kind of I'm not going to say what I was about to say.
I was going to say, if Khanster, he had 3 HP against Magma, if he made it out of that fight after what he just did with Concrete, you should do like those damageless, you know, runs, you know?
So, I would say 3-1 for Magma so far in this.
Oh yeah, Magma is definitely... Oof. So, CrebleStar has taken the lead back after that death from Khanster. Meanwhile, Volwrath, he is on Galaxy Man. You're seeing the copters I was just talking about. And Polytope's about to join him there in Galaxy Man. Of course, he has completed a whole other stage in between. So he has a sizable lead there. Kreble and Khanster, you still have a pretty tight lead. Probably only 30 seconds apart or so.
Yeah, what I do like about Galaxy is like the amount of things that you can use to your advantage or disadvantage in the stage. Like there's the copters, there's teleports and all kinds of stuff like that you can use. And
yeah,
it just really changes the dynamic of what, when you look at it first, it looks like a really long horizontal stage almost, but everything just makes sense once you start playing it.
A lot of back and forths and whatnot, but it's actually a really fun stage. I mean, using the concrete, the teleporters, the copters, there's so much to this stage that it's fun. It's fun to figure out how to use things that are designed to kill you to your advantage.
And on top of that, you get fun music.
One of the best songs in the game. One of the best. This whole soundtrack, you can't beat it.
So Volwrath just entering the Galaxy fight, and he got the 2 swoops.
Wow.
He unfortunately missed a shot there, but still a relatively quick fight overall. So, I believe it's based on which frame you enter the door, based on how quick you are to get there. You'll either get 1 swoop or 2 swoops, or no
0.
swoop at all.
Yeah. Oftentimes 0 swoops. Yeah. So I mean, essentially, it's a 50% chance whether he goes up or down. So naturally, that is a 25% chance of getting 2 swoops. Yeah, it's all based off of a global timer in the background. So when you're playing through a whole stage, that doesn't mean that much. It's pretty much RNG at that point. You'll see the global timer really take into effect in Plugman stage and maybe Tornado Man stage. I don't know if these runners are going to go for the battery jumps or not, but if they do, it would matter then as well.
For sure. So CrebleStar had a much better Galaxy stage, so he took a couple screens on Khanster, and Polytopes just riding along as usual.
Yep.
Right now, do Hornet. So they did the reverse stages, but they'll meet up after Volwrath is done. Hornet will see exactly what kind of distance between the two players there is. Getting the medium flower there, you kind of want it to be at the top left or right. Ideally, the way the concrete shot arcs downwards, you want it to be on the platform next to you from the top.
Volwrath having a tough time with the flower there.
Critical health too, so this is gonna be tough to finish.
I would almost take an intentional death. You have the spikes right here, the checkpoints right, like right in that room. That might be the way to go.
All out of concrete too.
He's out of concrete. I don't think he realized it right away. So Gm1 stage, as you see on polytope screen, very purple. I like it.
Purple topes.
There's a couple ways to go about it. You can use Buster. A lot of runners use Buster to save the menu. Some other runners choose to use concrete to do the little concrete zips, which if you do enough of them, make up for the menu. So it's all up to preference. That one strat is kind of... Oh wow, Polytope's getting the best possible cheese ball. That's one second right. The second most right one is the best one because you can stand right by the door and kill it. Again, using the... oh, we haven't explained it yet in this run, so I won't say it again. But the Magma Bazooka has a certain quality where it's a triple shot, and the damage stacks. So if you can do a full charge Magma Bazooka and land all 3 hits, the damage stacks. So you can really just melt these mini bosses, as well as Hornet Man himself, as you're seeing on CrebleStar's screen there on the top right.
Yeah, so that means you would need 3 charge shots and a minor hit to get rid of Hornet, which happens really
Making quick work of Gm1.
Yeah, so the cool thing about Gm1 is he's fully manipulable in how he jumps. When you jump, he jumps basically, so you can make him run and jump as much as you want and make him fall specifically where your black hole is situated.
So what's really cool is Polytopes through 5 Robot Masters. So by the way, he now has Rush Jet. He's only like 4 seconds from his PB pace, which again is he's fresh off a 32-37 from a few hours ago. So
yeah, anything under 13 is pretty amazing.
Yeah, he's. Whew.
Yeah. Do we talk about the cheese ball? We can right now as Volwrath enters. So those Hornets will aim onto it and force it down instead of doing this little randomized action that takes like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Then you can pretty much nail him down to the ground with either concrete or a few magma shots. Looks like Volwrath is going for concrete. It was a pretty interesting strat. In my opinion, it's even a more difficult one than the magma one. So each player just decided to learn one way and just stuck to it looks like.
Yeah, I believe Slurpy Ninja came up with the concrete strat there. It is slightly faster when done optimally.
I believe it saves the menuing, like that's the only like on optimize it saves menuing once, I think.
But it makes some of the other screens definitely a lot more difficult. So on Polytope's screen again, going to him, we have the Rush Jet jumps to skip over some of these platforming sections. It may look easy, but the Rush Jet jumps are not trivial. Basically, Rush will stop moving when he matches Mega Man's Y position. So basically, you need to time your jump such that you are on your way up when you meet Rush, so that you are still going up and can land at him, rather than if you do it at the peak of your jump, and that's where you meet, well, then you can't land on him because that was the peak of your jump. So it's pretty difficult. to get down. It takes a lot of practice, but polytopes making it look easy. So
So we
finishing
saw
off Splash Woman.
big death here on the scissors, which comes the famous quote, "Don't run with scissors." He just did it twice. So that particular one that he just died on has a short window. Like if you shoot the little tube out or whatnot too early, you can't make it to the other side.
Party hat.
The party hat.
It's a party hat.
So we can talk about plug menu. You were saying as Polytopes starts that. So this stage has Yoku blocks, which are the famous appearing and disappearing blocks that you see in almost all the games. That they're on global cycles, so they start appearing and disappearing the moment the stage starts. So your movement, any mistake, kind of sets off everything in a different way. So Polytopes actually got the one cycle there, which means if you didn't make any major mistakes and you didn't have to stop, but otherwise you'd have to wait for another disappearing block.
Yeah, it's called Perfect Plug. Just not make any mistakes. You need to stay on the cycle. It's a pretty difficult stage, but you know, Polytopes so far handling it excellent. You should be on pace here for skipping this last cycle of blocks.
So as CrebleStar and Volwrath, both of them are almost feels like they're on neck and neck on a race, but they're not racing each other.
I know they're. Oh.
I'm gonna stop talking. Every time I say something.
Polytopes doing the Big Mama jump and getting it. That was cool.
Yeah, the Big Mama jump is neat, but you can only do it if it's a low jump pattern. If it jumps high, you'd have to wait or kill it.
I think there's like supposedly it's not even a frame perfect trick. You can do it, but it's like based off of subpixels. I don't know. I can't figure that one out, but apparently it's possible. It's just not a thing that you'll see. Probably.
If people have proven something possible being, or something impossible being possible, rather, it is the Mega Man community.
Exactly, that's true.
So Bronado, so that's another stage that you talked about the batteries earlier, where everything you do from the start of the stage is to maximize your movement to get to these little magnet batteries.
Yeah,
there's what, about half a second, I think, optimally.
Yeah, so this is a really high risk, low reward scenario here. Polytope's not going for it. Alright, that's smart, because in a race setting...
It's even worse for this stage, because your rush ammo is, like, dreadfully calculated for this stage, so any mistake just changes the whole way you'll have to play this stage. So
exactly. You die once, and all of a sudden you have to ride the batteries throughout, and yeah. It's definitely a smart race strategy not to go for it. I don't blame any runners for not. Again, you're risking your life for 50 or half a second at most, if you do it optimally. So it's the benefit of it is that you see this section here, the rain is pushing you backwards. So you're seeing Polytopes jump from platform to platform. While you're in the air, it's pushing you back. While you're standing, it's obviously not affecting you. If you do the battery strat, you can use rush earlier on, which means less jumps, less time being pushed back. And that's where that whole entire whopping half second comes into play. So
it makes sense, because I've seen children, when you walk children and they start jumping forward in puddles when it's raining, they go ahead really far. Maybe that's what it is. The water jumps are carrying them forward.
It's science. It's science.
Alright, so Tornadoes. So looks like that's
what
exactly
am I saying? The
what
rich getting richer. Unbelievable.
So
Polytopes, if he doesn't have enough of Tornado, bro.
yeah. So when we say tornado, we mean that the boss can spawn either high, low, or medium, essentially, in the start of the fight and during the fight, and obviously we want him to stay low because his weakness is a ground weapon. I believe the worst is the high one because it's near the spikes. It's a little harder to hit him. And then there's the medium height, which you can get some good damage if you time your jumps and shots correctly.
Yep. But yeah, by far that pattern is the fastest. So you see Polytopes, he's moving on to the Wily stages. We're talking a lot about this race. He's moving on to the Wily stages. Right now, CrebleStar and Khanster, they're about. Did Kreble go to Splash Woman? Yeah, he did. So he's gonna be moving on to Tornado Man next, as well. He's on a pretty good pace.
Time in flowers, so hopefully it goes better from him from here on out. It's worth noting that he's probably the freshest player on this game, so it's really cool to see him even in this tournament participating. Like, whatever his goal is, we wish that he gets it.
Oh, absolutely. CrebleStar, by the way, also looks like he's on PB pace. So he's having a really nice run despite the deaths in Magma. 2 deaths in Magma, I believe, right? Memory serves me.
He struggled a little bit early on, but he really picked it up afterwards, so I wouldn't be surprised if it went from red to green, like in his trend.
Well, he finished Plugman, and I never saw red. So his split stayed green. So
also Volwrath is very new to this game, so I'm happy to see him on plug at this point. Like, I think it could pace.
Really, the first major mistake I've seen Polytopes make is he had to go back 2 screens here. This is what I mean about the rush jet jumps. They look easy, people probably don't think anything of it, but timing those jumps are pretty hard, especially when you have a lava beam that can instantly kill you coming right at your back.
So to calmly come back and just reset the room.
Yeah, exactly. To know I don't got it, I need to reset the room. Let's just draw off the screen. You know, that was really smart. So, GG the Polytopes on that. But really, the only real mistake I've seen from him so far this race. Been really solid.
So we'll see how. We didn't talk about Jewel fight as Volwrath fights, and you have the exact ammo, and it is a shield you can throw it, kind of like the Woodman shield a little bit from Mega Man 2, but you can also get in proximity and hit, and that seems to be the safe strat, because Jewel can stay put, or he can jump, and sometimes that makes you miss the first shot, so players tend to put the shield on and walk to him for the first hit, and then you just time your inputs.
Well, the first move is scripted. He will always jump to the middle on the regular plug fight. So you know right away that you can get 2 shots in immediately. What he does from there is random. That's a little bit different from what you'll see in the refights, where he can actually have 3 different starting moves. He can stay on the right side of the screen, he can jump to the middle, or he can jump to the far left. So that makes it a lot more difficult to kind of predict what you're going to do with your dual shots, because you don't want to miss a shot. You have exact ammo for that fight, and that'll end up costing you a menu, plus fighting him without a weapon without his weakness is not ideal. Everybody here is on the Robot Master. Polytopes, in the meanwhile, is in Wily 2, managing his way. Again, one of the most dangerous stages in the game, using concrete block to move his way through. Gonna see a pretty cool strat here where he simultaneously freezes the enemies and jumps on them. And Godflower again. Unbelievable.
I want to bring your attention to Khanster's stream. He's using like a very casual strat currently with the black hole, and it just shows off how powerful that weapon actually is. Like it'll eat up enemies in a single shot. It'll eat up bullets. Like it'll literally get rid of pretty much anything on the screen. This game is one of the few that has a few of those really lethal weapons, like the tornado and the black hole, for example, that eradicate pretty much everything in a single shot.
Yeah, it has some super good weapons in this game. Black Hole Bomb, casually, has to be one of the top Mega Man weapons, period, of any game. It's just so powerful. And to be able to pause cancel it and then use it again, it's just, it's a really good weapon.
And CrebleStar starting Wily1 himself, and the cool thing about this part is the game developers intended you to use the tornado here to make these little propeller platforms go up so you can proceed, but players will just be using restaurant and cruising through that much faster. Yep. And we'll see actually coming up on Kreble as well. The second dragon was, I believe he's one of the guys that can actually manage to do the rush shift kill.
Oh, does he do it?
Yes, yeah, almost. Did miss it. It does save a menu over the concrete, but it's not easy at all, especially in a stressful situation like a race. Shadow's even going for it.
Absolutely.
Ollie getting to the third phase of the shark. There's 3 phases. His weakness is the laser trident on all 3, but it is pretty limited in ammo when you get there. Good ammo management here. Still has about 5-6 shots, which is means he didn't waste too many of them. But it is a pretty tough boss casually as well. I had to use any tank here all the time, basically.
I still want to say he's on like a high 32 or low 33 pace. He's having an excellent run.
Probably the fastest run we've seen in the tournament so far, like as far as pace. I know Slurpee has some good ones too.
Yeah, Slurpee. Well, right now the top 2 times are Slurpee Ninja, and he has a 32.
Some high 32, like a casual 30... Slurpee run.
A casual 32-42. And then
which is PB for Poly.
No, he's 37 now. But he could very easily get the second best run so far this tournament, which does matter, like I had said. So you have Darko and myself both got a 33-45. Currently tied for second. Polytopes can easily beat that right now. So hoping for that, or am I?
So on Khanster's stream, we see when you get inked, the Mega Man sprite becomes like a black colored. I'm pretty sure it does absolutely nothing. It's purely aesthetic, but it's just fun.
Nothing at all. But it's pretty cool, like that the sprites, like the extra lives will turn black as well. It's just a cool thing. So you'll see the weapon energy does not refill in the Wily stages, but we got an M-tank, so that's kind of useful. Polytopes opting for the tornado strats here in Wily 3.
I feel like it's what we've been seeing most so far, the tornado strategy here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the safer strat. Maybe I should take a note. And then,
I was gonna say, somebody I know in this room does the laser trident.
Yeah, and died in my race. Whatever. But uses the M-tank immediately. Again, the sooner you use the M-tank, the better off you are. Saves the M-tank time. Every weapon refill obviously costs more time. So, Polytopes using it right away. Meanwhile, Volwrath is using the plug strat for Wily1. That is a relatively new strat, developed, I believe, a year ago by Slurpee Ninja. And Easy Devil for Polytopes. Easy every time. We didn't talk about it. So, he killed the Easy Devil in one cycle. It's not actually easy. Basically using the black hole bomb, pause canceling, and then shooting it again multiple times until it died. Otherwise, it will just continue going back and forth with that red eye in the center.
Every cycle is 21 seconds, the dreaded 21. CrebleStar having a bit of struggle against the flower, and by his ammo I can tell that he probably had to use more than he wanted to, so he might refill right here for safety. Going for the HP but not the concrete. It is a checkpoint there, so it's safe to say that you won't need concrete anymore until later.
Polytopes not doing Galaxy Manip, so it looks like he's going for safer race strats here. He does get the worst pattern, unfortunately, which is actually gonna. That is gonna cost him
3 seconds each.
Yeah, that is gonna cost him time there, and he's gonna be short concrete for the second phase of Wily. It's unfortunate. So this is the best plug pattern you can hope for. That's what
Jump straight to you.
He's like, come and get it. So best plug pattern there. I mean, really, that Galaxy was the only time I saw bad luck. Is he getting Tornado Bro again? And this might just make up for it, because he got it. He missed one shot, but that's alright. Really good.
Luck is definitely on his side.
For sure, for sure. Well, CrebleStar, he's having a pretty good run himself. Had trouble with that flower, but he's still in the green, and he's going into the shark fight. If you want to look at all 4 of them, he's in second place. He has a sizable lead over Khanster, who's still in Plugman, taking another death.
Plugman is a difficult stage when you start learning this game, because every time you make a mistake, it feels like you're playing a different stage. Things are just rolling a different way. It's like you have to do the Yoku's the traditional way on top of that.
It's definitely one of the most frustrating stages, unfortunately. Alright, so making quick work of Splash Woman. Great kill. Wow, nice job, Polytopes. And
Volwrath not far behind Cribble too, if we do the comparison there. They've been
if we want to call that a race, they've been really close. I know they're IRL friends, so maybe this is a real race, you know? They have some money on the side.
Alright. Poly starting Wily phase. So the first phase, he's got these little mechanical eggs that you gotta blow up in his mouth, but using very quick strats here with the trident. And going to phase food. You must use concrete shot on his mouth. He's going to be short of fuse here, so he's going to switch to the Magma Buster to finish this one out.
You did get the worst possible pattern, which is unfortunate. But when you're short, that's actually probably the best pattern.
And this is why we go for broke. So now we're going to see what kind of teleports he's going to get. Does land the fire shot there. It's pretty precise. That's nice.
Wow, the luck.
So time comes when he picks up the chip.
He's gonna get it.
There you go.
Boom, 33-25. GG Polytopes. He now has the second best tournament time.
Gonna be switching the audio over to CrebleStar. There we go. CrebleStar coming up, just finished one of the stages that I find is one of the screens, I should say, that is hardest to optimize. That little S-shape thing with the 2 Joes. I don't know many people who can do that without just stopping.
Ooh, Khanster with the save there at the bottom.
You sure plugged that save in. I give myself a 2. That was pretty bad.
It's a 10 out of 10. All right, so let's see what CrebleStar here does. It's the hellish screen. He's staying with the Buster, the Coil Buster. That is okay.
He's
Right.
got a bit of-
He switched.
Oh no. Treble taking his time.
He did. So you wanna. Alright, so he did clear it up there with the laser trident.
I think he was low ammo on both of them, so he was kind of like managing, see how much he would need. As long as he got through there, I think he'll be fine.
With
See if he
tornado,
gets
you
the
want to
inside.
keep it moving forward, and that way you can get all the enemies off the screen. But if you hesitate a little bit, like we saw there, the sniper Joe didn't get blown away.
Let's see if Rebel gets the one cycle here, so it's pretty precise. Looks like he missed it, so he's gonna have to wait his second cycle. So it's pretty.
Ooh.
Every time you pause the menu, your black hole disappears. So when you get out of the menu, you can cast it again. And players take that to their advantage to cast it in succession while the damageable piece comes across, and they call it the one cycle between devil. Or I'm not sure what the. Just the easy double, I suppose.
Easy double, yeah. So
I think the hardest part is combining all the things to think of, like the fast pausing, the right timing, moving your Mega Man as well, because you can't stay in the middle because the thing travels faster than you, so you need to like carry your movement at the same time in between pauses. So it's not as easy as it looks, but it is definitely doable. Like it's not. I think almost any player could learn this with practice.
absolutely. Volwrath finishing off the easy double as well, and CrebleStar on to LA4.
So
These
we
two
can
have a little bit of a race.
Yeah. So we can probably talk about the manip you said earlier. So I think it's BTFM who figured this out, is that you go Galaxy first because based on which frame you enter from the start of the stage, you can get a favorable pattern from Galaxy Man, which saves a ton of time and also saves concrete. So he developed some strategies and specific movements that he could repeat to make sure he gets it every time. And I think every player changes their way of getting to that point, because it's not just one single frame that can do it, it's like a range. But there are some
Yeah.
favorable ranges.
It's a cluster of frames where there's a bunch of frames where, I want to say,
I think there's 8 or 9 or something like
yeah,
that.
there's
like in
a
succession.
few. There's a few where there's like one of them in between, which is 31.85, as we call it, get it 8.5, which is one swoop instead of two, but even that's not that bad. So as long as you're like sort of within the range of that cluster, you can get the Galaxy Manip. Yeah, no, a lot of runners utilize it. Again, it's based off a global timer, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to do identical movement, but as long as you get to Galaxy Man at that time, you'll get that pattern. Basically, what you want to do is you want to look at the flashing lights in the background of the teleport room, and enter in on. Well, everybody's different, but fourth yellow is what I go with. So, Khanster, unfortunately, he forfeited, it looked like. Forfeited from the race after that death. No shame in that. He's had a rough run.
For
Pleasure
sure.
in just not being kind to him.
Couldn't quite plug that one in.
2 for 2. Rebel melting away Hornet Man here.
I really like this. We kind of have like this little mini race going on from separate races.
I know.
I'll
That's
be
one of the
talking about
benefits.
this one after.
True. It's one of the benefits of having four runners. I mean, they're one robot master apart in the refights. It's pretty good. Tight race. So
So another disadvantage, or I should say one more risk of the strat that you take in Wily 3 is you'll either come here with less black hole or more, I believe.
Yeah, so if you use the, if you miss single cycle devil, it depends on where you use your M tank too. You
Right.
can potentially not have enough finish off Jewel.
Alright, let's see how Creble does on the Wily machine. This particular phase 1 is a real big gatekeeper in the beginning, and shouts to you, Jack, for sending out a little video to help out with this.
Oh, thanks. And hopefully it helps runners figure it out. This is basically the reason why a lot of runners choose to get the M tank and plug man, or the E tank and plug man. You know, it's very easy to take damage in that first phase, and Wily gives you a crappy pattern.
You can tell Volwrath's been working on it. That was nice.
Oh wow, Volwrath! I made up some ground there on CrebleStar. Again, they're not racing against each other. Let's be real.
We'll just pretend like they are.
They're racing against each other.
Bragging rights.
Exactly. Although he is short of concrete, meanwhile, Creble low on health. Okay, he does have the E tank left.
And Khanster finishes plug.
Very nice. He did forfeit from the race though, so. Alright, he should probably use that E tank. Alright.
This is a good representation of what Wily Casino can really be.
Oh yeah, he is not being nice. Look at this, Volwrath and Creble have the same health for Wily. It's gonna come down to who gets luckier. Look at this. And it looks like it's Creble. But Volwrath made up some ground, and now and Volwrath just finished. Wow. That was crazy. Volwrath got like all the low patterns at first. 5 seconds apart it looks like on the stream. That's really close for Mega Man 9, so 5 seconds apart on SRL too. Wow. Good race.
GG.
Good race / non-race.
Alright, so we have, that means game 1 goes to CrebleStar on the right race against Khanster, and Polytopes takes game 1 on the left side matchup. And they are in separate groups, and it's also their first game each. So they got the blues out, and now they can like focus on they probably learned some stuff. They're like, oh, I'm not going to do that again next time. That's how I felt when I did races of other games. Just living it, understanding what to do next, and that this isn't a PB attempt. It's who gets at the finish line first.
Yep.
Safely.
Safely. Keyword.
Alright. So we're gonna shortly set up game 2 meanwhile. Should begin shortly. Jack, what did you like about this? Anything that stood out that you liked that happened, or?
Yeah, I mean, I loved seeing just how Creble was able to recoup after the early deaths. I believe he had 2 or 3 magma deaths early on. He still got it together, put together a good run, and competed with Volwrath there. Polytopes, again, seeing a mid to low 33 time during a race, during I believe his first race, is absolutely incredible. He is showing a lot of promise. He is a 32 runner. He's a major threat. I love seeing that. I love seeing more people get into that range. all these runners that, you know, are just learning the game for this. Polytopes has already learned the game, but you also see him. You see runners like Ahmad. 8-Bit is great, who's made a lot of progress in the game very quickly. It's really cool to see.
Sozman as well.
Oh yeah, Sozy man, he got a big PB. Yeah, they're love seeing all the times improve and all the you know, 33s, 32s, and stuff that's coming.
So I can say a few things that I also enjoyed seeing. I enjoyed I know Khanster forfeited, but I did enjoy him showing players different things that you can do if you struggle, because it is a difficult game. Like, we haven't emphasized enough on that. Like, this is an extremely difficult game casually, and like the black hole stuff, like, definitely do it. It eradicates everything. And also Volwrath, he's what people might not know about him is he's known as a Super Metroid runner, and the Mega Man scene is very new to him. He has played some of it casually, but like from a speedrun standpoint, he pretty much picked this up too because his buddy was in it, and we've all done that, and like he's really holding his own. So I tip my hat off to him too, actually showing up and completing his first official live race on SpeedGaming. Getting his feet wet in Mega Man scene. All right. Looks like the players are ready to go right away, so we're going to jump in right into game 2. So again, this is a best of 3 if you're just joining us. So Polytopes took game 1. Also, CrebleStar on his end took game 1, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get a third race.
I think I was on mute there for a while. I apologize.
Yeah, no problem.
Whoops.
Okay.
Oh, having a slight problem, it looks like,
With game audio, we'll fix it momentarily. Looks like they're gonna fix it right now. So one thing we haven't touched on, because there was so much stuff going on, like we can't even talk about anything else but the game, is the tournament format. There is a group stage going on right now, but in the top 2 seed of each group are going to move on, but they're going to be seeded into an elimination bracket after the fact, which I believe is single knockout except for the last round. Am I correct?
It's best out of 3 still, but it is single knockout. Yep.
So no do-overs.
No do-overs. The last round, it's still single elimination, but there's a 3rd place match. So you'll have you know, the final 4. You have the 2 champions of that'll move on to the championship game, and then the 2 losers of the semifinals will compete in a 3rd place match. So it's still single elimination plus a 3rd place match. For sure.
Alright, looks like we're ready to go any moment here.
Oh yeah?
I'm excited. I'd say I want to see Polytopes do better, but damn, that was really good. And
Yeah.
I'd like to see everybody, like, how about 3 PBs? Volwrath, Kreble, Khanster, the all. Let's do it.
I'm down with that. Why not all 4? Let's Polytopes. Let's get a 32 2x now. Let's go.
Can you imagine 2 32s in the same day?
2 32s in the same day? Yeah.
By the same person.
By the same person. I've seen another one